Afternoon, a very warm welcome everybody from Apollo 14 in The Hague. Welcome at this Going International with Your Impact Company workshop. During this masterclass, you will learn what it takes to expand your business globally. And you'll hear that from an experienced founder of a social enterprise and from an experienced international business coach. My name is Bart Krul. I'm the moderator of this session. And next to me is Koos Santing. He's program manager of Impact City The Hague. Koos, this is the final 4 sessions today. Can you highlight a bit what we've done today to give a bit more context?
Yeah. So we are here for a European project, which is called Resilient Regional Ecosystems for Social Impact. We have won that as a consortium. The consortium consists of 4 countries: Turkey, the Iveler district, Belgium, the city of Aalst and the region of Antwerp, the city of Hanover, and the city of The Hague, Impact City, my hometown. And we're also part of the consortium of Social Enterprise NL and the European Social Enterprise Network, Euclid Network. And we have done today some exciting stuff about, first we got to know each other, the local ecosystems, what's going on. We identified best practices, lessons, what you can do to build such an ecosystem. We had a masterclass from a professor on entrepreneurial ecosystems, Erik Stam. And now we are at the most exciting part, because we, as a consortium, thought it is really important that we open up this network also for our impact companies in our cities and regions. So we have a masterclass about going international. And I'm really looking forward to that part.
Same here, Koos. Thanks. And on a really funny side note, you might have heard the song when we just before we opened the session. You're well aware of the Eurovision Song Contest taking place in the Netherlands this week. So if you have an idea what the artist's name was of the song and the song title, and in what year he won and from what country he came, you might want to share that in the chat. No funding attached to good answers, but well, there's of course eternal fame to be it's not ABBA, Stefan, but thanks for your out of the box answer. Let's take a quick look at the program and some practical stuff. We have presentations first by Cathelijne Lania. She's founder of A Beautiful Story. I'll introduce her more properly in a few minutes, and then Danny Den Hartog will have the stage. He's an international business coach. We have a Q&A until 5 o'clock after both their presentations. And after that, there's 30 more minutes of sort of informal networking in an online context, so that we have 6 breakouts. I'll tell you more about it at 5 o'clock. But so please keep in mind that the overall session ends at 5:30 with that informal networking included. If you have questions during the presentations or during the session, please put them in the chat. They will be answered during or after the presentations. And the session is being recorded. So let's take a look at Cathelijne Lania. We're really happy Cathelijne is with us today, because Beautiful Story sells jewelry made by Nepalese artisans since 2006. She'll tell all about it in a few minutes, but the good thing is she has 700, she sells her jewelry in 700 stores in Europe already. And in Nepal, more than 120 artisans have a job because of A Beautiful Story. So there's plenty of good stuff and lessons to be learned there. I'd like to give the floor to Cathelijne.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Bart. I'm really honored to share my story, because when I look at how I went my path, I learned so much from other entrepreneurs, and I'm still learning a lot. So I'm very willing to give you a look in the kitchen, like we say in the Netherlands, from A Beautiful Story. Growing impact by growing international. Tell you all about that. But first, a little bit about me. My name is Cathelijne, and my motto is I've never done it, so I think I can do it. And that's because my hero from when I was a very young girl is Pippi Longstocking. She just tried everything, and sometimes things went very wrong. But many times things were going in the right direction, and that's the way we try our business too. I have a social enterprise, and the name is A Beautiful Story. And when I look at my roots, it's quite funny because my mother was a social worker and my father was a really commercial businessman. He was a kitchen seller, not just a kitchen seller. I think he was the best kitchen seller in the north of Holland. Still, he stopped for 20 years. When I'm with him in town, people meet him and say, "Oh, I still have a kitchen of yours." So from him, I really learned, the art of selling. And that is really, something I need within A Beautiful Story, because we want to create impact and therefore we need business. I have this company since 2006, and it all started with a phone call from my mom. And there was in the time when I was working at Sara Lee Douwe Egberts, a very commercial corporate. I was in marketing coffee, and my mom called. She was in Nepal, and she was with a friend of ours, and he was the owner of a very small silver factory. And this friend I met a few years before in 1999 when I was volunteering in Nepal. I was setting up a computer center, very different story, but I learned to get to know this factory where they made beautiful silver jewelry. And all the time I went there to buy some presents for my friends and family and to send it home. And even when I worked at a big corporate, I still kept in touch. I fell in love with Nepal. I went back every year, all the time visiting this factory and all the people there who became my friends. And then my mom called, "Oh, it's so sad. The factory has to shut down because they only had one customer and he stops buying, and 12 boys were on the street making the jewelry." And then I thought, okay, I'm selling coffee. I'm not totally happy with it. It's just a commercial thing. Why shouldn't I quit and fly to Nepal and start making jewelry? And that was the beginning of A Beautiful Story. That's 15 years ago. This year we have a celebration. And there's a lot of things happening in those 15 years. But before I start telling more about that, I want to show you just a short movie about the impact we make.
Your purchase at A Beautiful Story helps to create jobs on the other side of the world. Not for manufacturers far away, but for craftspeople who are part of us, because we are a family. For our artisans, A Beautiful Story means a living wage, a roof over their heads, food on the table, and independence. In short, a lucky job. Most countries have a minimum wage, but that's often not nearly enough. With a living wage, you can afford your basic needs, and we add a little extra to that, a living wage plus. Education is extremely important to us. We want our artisans' children to attend good schools. We also pay extra attention to the value of money and teach our people how to manage it the right way. In 2006, we started with a small group in Nepal. Now, our family already consists of 123 artisans. Our dream is that we'll be with 1,000 artisans in 5 years' time, on all continents, and every year, our dream comes a little closer. A beautiful story for everyone.
Yeah, every time when I see this movie, and it's so funny, it feels so professional. If you look at the first picture, it was just a few ladies and a few guys, and we didn't have any media, we didn't have any communication. It was just a few products, and now 15 years later, we are able to make all kinds of stuff that helps us to promote our jewelry. And what you saw is that with us, impact comes first. It started with this group of friends the 11 artisans and their owner of the factory. Now we have 123. It took us 15 years to come at that level. And we said, we have so much experience now. Can't we speed up? Couldn't we get faster to more impact jobs, because we see it gives a lot of empowerment and people feel so proud to work this way. So we said, let's go to 1,000 jobs in 5 years. So do it in 1/3 of the time we did now. But to grow your impact, we have to grow our business. And we have 2 strategies to do that. First one is we are a jewelry brand, but we have now 770 retailers buying our stuff. If we find other products to sell to those same people, we can grow our business. And we see so many beautiful products, artisans who work with passion, who have this beautiful talent. So we are looking into different categories. We are starting in July with paper goods, stationery. We are starting in the festive season with Christmas decorations and table decorations. So slowly but surely we will move ahead on this part. But maybe more interesting for this workshop is our growth strategy to get more customers. That's just the part of going international. We're in the Netherlands. It's a very small country, but still with a lot of potential. But if you look at all the countries around us, we have the European Union. If you look at the world as your playground, there is a big market to win. And at this moment, we are delivering our products to 20 countries, to approximately 770 retailers. So these retailers, those are shops, boutiques, concept stores, department stores, selling clothes, other lifestyle products. And the way we came there was just first in 2013, get the right people on board. We were a very small company. But then I attracted an investor and he said, you need some very talented salespeople. So I found a lady who reminded me of my father to get this new customers on board. And what she did was really listen. What I learned about sales is about listening and seeing what the customer needs. And that's what she did. She found me the first international agent. In fashion, you work with agents. So those are companies who are catering to a certain region. For example, in Düsseldorf area, that was the first agent. They have a portfolio of 400 customers. They all come to the agent showroom, and there they see what they have in clothing, in bags, in fashion items, accessories. And we were added to this portfolio of this agent. And certainly at the time we saw, okay, this is easy. We just have one partner to deal with, and he is going to extend this to all these other shops. And that was a success formula. So after this first agent, we started looking for more because this was really attractive. We were rolling out in Germany from 1 to 5 agents. We went to Switzerland, to Austria, to Belgium, and we thought, okay, we're on a roll. But in 2017, it appeared we made some mistakes. I will tell you about that in a second, because I think from mistakes you can even learn more than from success. And then it took a lot of investing to get back on track and get our growth track back. But we managed more countries by trial and error. Those 20 countries, it's not that they're all a very big market for a beautiful story. I think 70% of the revenue comes from Netherlands, Germany, and Switzerland. But we see some of the smaller countries now growing very fast. So you never know what's going to be the growth market. So sometimes markets you don't expect, for example, Italy, we never expected to sell our jewelry there, but we found an agent who is really connected to our stuff, but also to the customers. And she is finding exactly the fitting customers for us. So it really depends on the right people in the right place. And what is really a milestone, on 16 March of this year, I traveled to Germany in Corona time. It was allowed for 1 day, and I went to the notary to sign for our own foreign office. At this moment, we have a GmbH in Düsseldorf with 3 people, and this is our effort to take the German market really, really serious. But about Germany, I will come back in a moment. As a fashion brand, I understood there are a few fashion companies in the audience. So you see here a few brands, and this was really our big learning point, how to grow international. What we did was find brands who are catering to the same customers and the same agents and the same retailers. And we were really looking who is representing, how do they do their market growth. So we just did copy paste actually. We found that person who is really the person to talk to the retailers and the agents, who is someone they can recognize themselves in. I was more used to the corporate world, so I can tell the story of the company, but I didn't have the feel of fashion. And the person I hired had the feel of fashion, and she was a really good listener. And that made us successful with these quite emotional customers. When we had the agents on board, we asked them to promote us. So from 1 agent, we went to 3 agents, to 10 agents, because they all were talking to each other about how they were building market with a beautiful story. And we also went a lot to trade shows, and trade shows are places you never know if you have the right show, but it really is worth to invest to go to trade shows to show yourself, and it's a hub that people can come to you and talk to you. But then even more important, after getting in business, it's important to stay in business. And that's something where we learned a lot of lessons about. We learned to talk also to the retailers, not only to the agents, because they don't know everything. Take care that retailers can approach you in a way that they want. So be present on trade shows, know where the retailers buy their stuff, know that they where they find their inspiration and their where to buy their products. And a very important thing is increase trust and loyalty, is share your story. And this is especially as an impact company, there's a lot of things that can happen. For example, our production is not as stable as most of other brands. We had a big earthquake in Nepal in 2015. 4 months we were out of production, which was really bad because 4 months you don't have turnover. There's the risk that people are running away. The retailers are taking in other brands. But if you share your story in a very nice way, you really take along all your retailers by hand to tell you what steps you're taking. It's really increasing a lot of loyalty and trust. Okay, my biggest learning case in the history of 15 years, and it's called Germany. We were on a very high growth track, and it was our biggest fallback of the whole history of the company, because we started in 2015 with the first agent. He managed to get 100 stores. We speeded up in 2016 by rolling out to all these other agents to 450. And then we thought, yes, finally, we are the scale up, we're going. We were hiring people, we were buying stock, we increased our media spendings, and we thought we were really going to hit the roof. But what happened was totally the other side. And we went back to 150, and it took us 3 years to come a little bit back on track to where we are now. And that was because what I just said, we didn't know what was happening with our customers. We relied on our partners, and the agents were telling that they were going to do double digit, they were growing very fast. But on the store floor, the jewelry was still in the racks and not going out fast enough. We thought that the end consumer, the Germans and Dutch people, we're just next to each other, so it's almost the same. But it wasn't true, because the Germans liked silver better than the Dutch people, and we had a lot of gold colored jewelry in the collection instead of silver. So there was another thing. Also, there was some economic pressure in Germany, which we didn't see happening that well. So we only looked at what the agents were saying, but we didn't look at the market and all the other more the macroeconomic things. And a very important thing, the culture might be the same on some things, but where the Dutch are known for being innovative, creative, and just very fast in trying new things. The Germans, we were quite successful that they were started trying us, but then the most important thing comes, you have to be very gründlich and pünktlich. And we made some mistakes, like the quality was not so okay of some products. In the Netherlands, retailers were calling us and telling us like, okay, this product wasn't good. Okay, we sent you a new one. We will make up next season. We improve the quality. And the Dutch retailer would be happy. But the German retailer would have his doubt. Is this company or brand, well, is it okay? Should I buy again? What's happening to the collection? Will it be worse next season? So a little bit more pessimistic in trust in us. And of course, we were not a German brand, so it's a bit more far away. That's something we really needed to improve. And of course, because of the growth, we bought a lot of stock, and it was all on the shelves, and it stayed on the shelves. So we had a lot of cash stress. At a certain moment in 2017, it was half May. We needed 250,000 in 3 weeks to buy new collections, and it was not there. So this was really a very big challenge to get finance somewhere to get a loan. But we managed to survive, and we managed to win back trust. And what we did was to have a German on the ground, a German native speaker who is really talking to all the agents and customers. We had patience, we explained the steps, we really started communicating a lot. And what's very important is that we stayed present at trade shows. That's something what we really learned. When Germans see you 4 times in a row at a trade show, they start to begin having trust because it's a stable company. The Dutch people can already be enthusiastic if they see you once. So this is what we really research now. If we enter a new country, what do we need to do to be reliable?
Cathelijne, sorry to interrupt you. I would like to make sure we have enough time for questions at the end. So could you come to a conclusion within 2 minutes?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
Okay, cheers.
Our next dream is the US, and everything we learned with Germany, we do now in the US beforehand and not while we are entering the market already. So this quarter we have a project for 3 months. We are doing 50 conversations. We are supported by the Dutch government in that, and that's really one of my tips. Find the ways in your government support, because many governments have this kind of programs to help you and connect you to the right people. And of this 50, we already did 18, and we learned so much. We already decided to do things differently than we did thought of before. And we really hope that next year we will found us a beautiful story office somewhere in the States. So that's a very cool and nice next dream. Well, my book of tips and tricks, I will share the presentation with you afterwards. So you can just, all the things I just mentioned are here. Find support, talk to others, share your dreams, because then the information will come to you. Use students, because there are a lot of students have to do a research from their schools and educations. And be there, just be where the retailers are, partner with other brands and find people to tell about you. But in all cases, try and fail, but do it calculated. So not like I did in Germany. And PS, don't forget to be pippy and really believe you can, even if you never have done it. Because if I known everything beforehand of the path I had to walk, I think I would have been a little bit afraid. But yeah, just by trial and error and try to make the error as less as possible, you will come everywhere you want to be. So please let me know if you have any questions. I will be happy to answer after Danny.
Thanks a lot, Cathelijne. Very inspiring stuff. And I see some first promotional efforts are being done for the German breakout session later on after your evaluation of the German market. So that sounds good. You will be sharing your slides, right? Because I see a question by Ilya. If you could go back to the previous slides of your book of tips and tricks. We're not going to do that now, but if you share it with all the participants, Ilya is sure to see your slide again. So let's go to Danny Den Hartog, our international business coach. Danny, really happy to have you with us. You have helped social entrepreneurs scale internationally for the past 8 years. Danny has his own business coaching and interim management support business, and he was in charge of the internationalization of the crowdfunding platform Lend a Hand, and he's a former managing director of Energize Africa. And there's you have a weak spot for Africa, right? So maybe that will come back into your presentation, but please, Danny, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Bart. Maybe everybody can just do a thumbs up if you can hear me. Everybody can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good news. That's a good start of the day for me then. So thanks so much, Cathelijne. Really enjoyed your presentation. I've been making a lot of notes and also look forward to the slides, same as the rest of the audience. So an incredible story, and thanks for sharing that with the audience. So I guess it's my turn now. So let me just share my screen. Can you see my slides also in good order? Yes. Okay, that's great. So let's go. If I can also skip one, that would be nice as well. Yeah. So let's start with the first one. Personal story. Once upon a time, a couple of years ago, 2 salesmen visited the beautiful country of Mongolia. And these were 2 salesmen selling waste bins. They were selling ironing boards, they were selling waste bins. And what happened is salesman 1 rang the head office, and the salesman said, "Oh my God, there's nobody really using Western style waste bins, and there are not so many department stores here where we can sell waste bins, and I just think it's not going to work. So I want to go home and I want to grab the first plane back, right?" So the other salesman, after that, he rang the head office and he said, "Wow, there is this country of 3 million people, but it's so easy for us to reach our target audience. There's one major department store in the whole of Ulaanbaatar where everybody goes to. So it's a great place, a concentrated area where we can sell our products to the department store." So that salesman was really excited, and he went back to the head office. So I guess you can get, sorry for my slides, I opened the wrong window, but we will get there. So the moral of the story is, obviously I was that salesman number 2 a number of years ago, and Mongolia was a country that I opened as an area sales manager for the Asia Pacific region, and we did a lot of sales turnover in a country where maybe, and I would like to echo Cathelijne there with Italy, right? Sometimes the countries that you would least expect to be successful could be actually quite interesting from a sales perspective. So we worked with an amazing partner that really made a big effort. You can see here a big banner, right, in the middle of the country, promoting Brabantia, which was a company that I worked for. So you can see some Mongolian advertising, which was amazing, and we had pretty good coverage. So just as a little bit of an introduction, and it was also it was fun, right? Did a bit of karaoke there, met a lot of great people, and it was cold as well, but it was fun. So I guess why is this going to be worth your time to listen to me for a couple of minutes today? So I'm not only an international business coach, but I'm somebody that also did the thing that a lot of you want to do, I assume, since you are in the workshop. So I managed to really achieve some successful business in a number of sectors. So I had different roles. I've been global sales director, I've been an area sales manager, so mostly in a commercial role, trying to scale business internationally. So I think I'm qualified to tell you a little bit about some of the challenges that I've faced. And for the past 8 years, I'm exclusively working with social entrepreneurs, impact companies, to help them scale internationally. And I've experience with different market entry methods, which we'll talk a little bit about more. So different geographical experience as well. So I guess that comes back to my role as a coach as well, right? So my role is basically, it's a little bit of cheesy picture here with my my photo there, but basically my role is to be a little bit of your guide, right, in this process. So I guess our objective is to build a wildly impactful business, not necessarily a wild, hopefully, obviously financially as well, but mostly impactful in the world. So, you know, just guiding you a little bit on the first hills, maybe in terms of internationalization, in case you are new. So for today's agenda, where do you start if you scale internationally, right? That may be kind of a good question to start with in here. Secondly, what models are there to internationalize, and why is there a faster way than you may think? I will talk a little bit about that. What are the hurdles to expect, how to overcome some of the hurdles, and what could be your next move? So I want to keep it very crisp and tight during this presentation, and I would like to invite you obviously for a breakout session a little bit later, where we can get to know each other a little bit more in detail. And I'm excited to learning more about your business, where you're standing and where you're moving. So far, so good. Can I have some thumbs up or wave if it's all right for you so far? Yeah, thanks. See Laura waving, great. Yassine as well, great, thanks for that. So the objectives basically are to inspire some kind of action. I would encourage you, maybe even at the end of today, make some kind of decision. Are you going to take some further steps in preparing for your rollout, or is it maybe too early and you just say, okay, my action point is to basically reconsider it in December this year, right? But take some kind of action that you say, okay, this is how I move forward, right? So that's what I would like to, I'm hoping that we can do today. Present some of the challenges and outline a process that you can follow. So let's do some poll now, right? Let's have a little bit of fun. I know that doing this digitally is different than if I were in the studio and you all we would all be together, right? So can you comment in the chat? Like, I assume everybody's here because you're interested in going international, right? So in the comment, can you please put a number? So one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7, and to represent where you are now with your business. So 1 is I'm an entrepreneur and I'm exploring to internationalize, but I'm not sure where to go, and if I'm ready, right? So put a number 1 if you're in that category. Number 2, I feel I'm ready, but I haven't made a move yet. Number 3, I've started preparing for my internationalization. 4, I've selected 1 or more countries and ready to rock and roll. 5, seasoned entrepreneur, already active. 6, I'm interested in the topic, but not planning anytime soon. And 7, oh shit, I'm in the wrong, oh sorry, I shouldn't have said it probably. I'm in the wrong place. So let's see what we have in the chat, right? So I see 6 from 1 from Emre, 3 for Patrick Mobile, Elizabeth number 8. Okay, that's all right. I'm grateful that you're still here with us. Cathelijne 5, Martin 4. Okay, so we have quite a varied crowd, I guess. So I'm trying to make it relevant for everybody. It's nice to have a mix of people in here. So that's great. Then the next one is, this requires a little bit more. So, you know, first you do a small thing on the chat, and now I'm asking you to do a little bit more in the chat. So this question is like, why would you go international in the first place? So think a little bit about what is your motivation of going international. So put something in the chat if you can, please. Why would you go international? And it's too silent. So can I ask, please, just dump everything in the chat. More revenues from Stefan. Great. Make more impact, skill impact, larger market from Laura. Grow mission driven. Wow, you're going wild now in the chat, which is good. We'd like to go international. Copy paste, passive income from franchise. Okay, expand our market. Wow, great. Mission driven. So what I'm seeing is it's quite interesting. A lot of you basically mentioned to grow your impact, right? Which I think is a great thing. And here I listed some reasons to go international, but it's really important to start with the why, right? As Simon Sinek also says, it starts with the why, also for internationalization, right? So maybe you would go into, and I will share the slide so you don't have to make notes. And for sake of time, I'll not go into everything, but I guess for impact-driven companies like that, impact is really important. And I would actually think that that all of these factors to go, like, you know, I'm already getting clients from abroad, for example, is often a reason why you would go, or to grow your sales, to exploit some synergies. But maybe you would not go if you say, hey, I don't have proof of concept in my home market yet, so I first want to create a stable basis from which to grow from, right? These kind of things are also important. And a decision can also be, I'm not ready, right? That's perfectly fine. You build step by step and build sustainably. So nobody's forcing you to go international now, and the world hopefully will exist in a couple of years. So, you know, take also your time for that. However, what I would like to also say here, that I think we're doing the world a disservice as impact companies if at some point we do not internationalize. So I'm telling that again, we are doing the world a disservice, humanity, if we don't go international, because that means that we're not scaling as fast as we can. And I think that's something for us to think about. We all want to make the world a better place, so we're doing a little bit of disservice. So here, just very quickly, I don't have time to go in detail, but this was a young mother in Uganda who was with a baby. Actually, the baby's name was Emma. I got it wrong on the slide, but she had for the first time in her life access to clean drinking water by Dutch technology, prepaid water ATMs, which was amazing to see in these settlements, right? What would have happened if they wouldn't have scaled here with their business, right? These people would have gotten this water from a dirty river. So this is what our challenge is, right, with our companies, to create these scalable solutions that actually benefit humanity on a major scale. So I would like to challenge you, even if you have a social enterprise which is benefiting your communities, can you create partnerships with others in different markets so that still your legacy can actually grow in that sense. So I hope I've given you a little bit of challenge. Who is now excited to go international once and for all? So commit to yourself in this chat. This is a life-changing moment for you. Put it in. Are you ready to rock and roll and go international, or are you not ready yet? Which is also totally Maarten. Yes, Sarah. Okay, fantastic. So only 2 people, which is an amazing result out of 37. Oh, Jeroen is coming as well. Okay, that's great. So born ready. Okay, this is fun. Then so it's in a moment of decision that your destiny is shaped, right? So this moment can determine the future of your business and even the world in a way, right? Because we are making a difference. So what is a 3-step process? In the workshop, I'll go more in detail. I'm running out of time, so I'll keep it tight. It starts with your ambition. Draw a vision for yourself. Grab a note and start. What I do in my coaching is I start actually with entrepreneurs just drawing what they would like to see. You know, what do you see there? Is it so just do something creative which sketches your vision. Where do you want to go, and look realistically what you have to offer the world, right? Then you go from a long list to a short list of number of countries, and you look at, okay, what needs to happen to be successful in these kind of countries. I know I'm going quite fast, and I'm going more in detail in the workshop, so I'm just trying to be not rubbing Bart against his hairs, as we say in Dutch. How can you then internationalize? What models are there? Can you put something in the chat? So what are you have heard from Cathelijne already a few things, like working with agents. So what are the other things? How can you actually expand internationally? And what is your current model? Franchising, FE, which is, yeah, definitely great. What else is there? Brand representatives from Sarah. Yeah, what else? What else do we have? B2C, web shop. Yeah, that's possible. So you can have, if you have especially an online business, a web shop, e-commerce, it's actually relatively easy to scale, right? Internationally. Yassine, I would be interested clustering to maybe you can explain a little bit more. Selling on Amazon is a great way to actually quickly get a presence internationally. So there's a licensing, yeah, different models, right? So I think to make it very easy for you to understand is you can start very small and low risk, right? So as Cathelijne said, you have agents, for example, like agents are taking a little bit of margin from you, but it's a quick way to get an established position abroad. Same as for distributors, right? It's the same kind of idea. Then you could choose to go for a more intensive way to approach a market. So you could look at indeed opening an own office or working with a joint venture, for example, with a local party. And yeah, so there are different ways, and it really depends on your own objectives as an impact company. Well, one of the things that I would like to encourage you is, and I think it's on the next slide. Yeah. I would like to encourage you to rethink your approach as an impact company. So we are not a traditional business. So it's not like we have to have our logo on the skyscraper in Hong Kong, right? It's not important. We don't have to have a luxury office somewhere in New York, in Manhattan. What we do, for example, for Lendehand, Bart told that I was responsible for the internationalization. What actually I did, Lendehand made a joint venture with Ethics, which was a local UK, it was for the UK market, a local crowdfunding platform. And we came together to create a whole new business, which was focusing on solar in Africa, right? So 2 social enterprises with the same mission in different territories coming together to create something new, right? So I would like to challenge you really to think about what other social enterprises or impact companies exist in other territories that you can partner with, and how can we not all reinvent the wheel and all have our ego thing by just going international. We all want to shine and to make a difference, but social entrepreneurship is not about heropreneurship, right? Yeah, it's okay to, you get what I mean. So that is something what I'm personally frustrated about the last 8 years, is that I'm seeing so many people making the same mistakes of just spending so much money on internationalization, whereas you can have much more impact for your audiences if you would be a little bit more modest and collaborative in that word. So in the traditional world, yes, we are competitors, but in the impact world, we actually grow the pie together. I'm convinced of that, and maybe that's just my own naive small little world, but I really would love us to see coming together more. So what are the hurdles? And I probably am running out of time. Bart, how long do I have? Sorry?
Sorry, 2 or 3 more minutes. Is that okay for you,
Okay.
Danny?
So let me just wrap up. So what hurdles do I expect? So please also in the chat, put the number 1 bottleneck in your business at the moment. If you look at internationalization, what is the number 1 thing holding you back currently in your internationalization? What is it? Please put it in. What's holding you back at the moment? Why are you having difficulties? What is in your way at the moment? So just put it in. COVID. Okay. Is there anything else? Language. Okay. These are all things that are hard to influence. Funding. We can have a bit more influence on that. Money. Okay. Network. Yeah. And I'm assuming not mobile networks. Other opportunities or focus, that's a great one. I mean, the world is a big place, as Cathelijne said. So focus is everything. I would love to see, maybe in a workshop, we can do a little bit more. So how to overcome the hurdles, right? Like, let's look at focus. How could we actually tackle this in a more sustainable way? So let's say the world is a big place. How would you select your first market, for example? What would be something that we could do to have more focus and scale sustainably? Can you put that in the chat as well? What would that be? How can we have more focus and grow abroad sustainably? Let's see, sorry, my chat is there anything? Choose one priority. Yeah, so just cut it in reasonable. Don't eat the elephant in one go. Be realistic, test assumptions. So you know what the nice thing about this is not, I think this proves that I don't have all the solutions, but you all know what to do. It's just a matter of coming into collectively to solve different issues. So I can have 10 points on my slides, but you're all having the right solutions here. So, which is fantastic. Then what's your next move? So what's the one thing that you will now do? And again, I will give a bit more tips and tricks in the breakout, but what is the first thing that you will now do and commit to after hearing Cathelijne and me speaking? What are you now going to commit to, or what is the one thing that you took away from our sessions so far? It's silence. Have we been nice remark? Okay. Neighboring countries, publicity, yeah, okay. Well, research, do your homework, do your research from Roos. Okay, let's keep it to here. So next move for Dutch participants, for example, can be to apply for the START's International Business, which is a subsidy worth currently 2,500, which is a small error here, but basically RVO is paying for your coaching. And helping you to grow internationally, which I can also do, but there are a limited number of vouchers. I think for international participants, you can really look at starting with your vision, right? And outlining kind of an action plan, like how are you going to approach it? It's not like you, you just go internationally. It's good to have some kind of plan. So yeah, let's connect. And here are my details. You can email me at info@dannynart.com, and you can see all the details. We will send it to you. So thanks a lot for. Sorry, I know it was a bit rushed, but I have plenty of notes here for the workshop. And thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, Danny. Great stuff from you as well. Just want to give the floor to everybody who has a question, either to Cathelijne or Danny, because I have a few and Koos has a few, no doubt. But it's all about the participants. So if you have questions about anything that has been said, please let us know in the chat. and we can give you the floor. Before any questions arise, I saw on one of the slides, Danny, I saw the remark, ask not how, but who. And that ties in, I think, to Cathelijne's remark, right people in the right place. Can you elaborate a bit on that, Danny?
Yeah, so, you know, if we ask ourselves immediately, like, how are we going to internationalize? How are we going to do it? I would get overwhelmed as an entrepreneur because the world is a big place and I'm just like, okay, just forget about it. It's too much, right? If you make it obviously smaller, but if you also ask who can help me to internationalize, it's a very different cup of tea, because maybe you can get people in that can help you on the journey, right? Or you can get the right partners on board that can actually help you in Germany or in other countries, right? So I think who, not how, is a nice one to kind of always keep in mind for not only internationalization, but for a lot of things in our lives.
Thanks. Go straight to a question by Jordi. Yes, Cathelijne, please elaborate.
Yeah, I see Jordi asking where and how do you find the right agents, and that is exactly a who. The better the agents, the better you will sell. And that was my experience. I had really the worst agents and really great agents. And what I said in my presentation, I found them by talking to entrepreneurs and brands who are in the same market with different products. So we were in jewelry, so we were not competitive to clothing or whatever. So if you can find agents or brands looking for the same target groups, you can use them as stepping stones to find the right representatives. And the second thing is that we were doing trade shows, and by being present on trade shows, it's quite a big investment. But I think from our 11 agents, 4 we found on trade shows. But we just put a sign looking for agents at the beginning of our booth, and then they were just coming in and talking, oh wow, you have nice stuff, can I represent you in Czechoslovakia? So it was really a market we never would have tried, but we're doing really well there.
Yeah. Can I add something to that? I think it's a great point. You know, one of the things you can look at is, can you see some dealer locators, right? So it depends on what industry you're in. But let's say you are in homewares, for example, right? So you could look at some other brands that are top or at the same level in terms of positioning as you as a brand, right? And then you just look at their global dealer locator. Often they want people in Czech Republic, right, to know in which stores the products can be found. And then you can easily see, okay, what dealer network do they have? So I've used that in different locations, and it's a very fast way to just copy paste the list of all distributors or agents of some of the other companies. So this alone is a really fast way to have the list of the best people, because you can assume the businesses in that are at that level, they have done their homework. And yeah, that would be my 2 cents.
Thanks, Cathelijne. Could it be a problem if an agent has competing brands in his or her portfolio, or is it really a sign of somebody knowing the way and already representing brands that are similar to yours, and he has the right contacts?
Yeah, well, it's of course totally depending on your market. I just talked to an entrepreneur who is entering the States with playing grounds for children. So it's a business to business. They sell to schools and to communities, totally different. And they are looking for exclusive agents only selling their stuff. But we can be in an agency with other jewelry brands and clothing, just as long as you have something extra to offer. So I think it depends on your business. And with us, it's not a problem. If you look at fashion agents, usually they have like 10 brands to 15 brands, which can be next to each other.
Thanks. This is really also the time, if there's additional questions to Cathelijne or Danny, please ask them in the chat. There's a thank you coming in, sounds good. A bit more if I follow my curiosity, you and maybe Danny can elaborate after that, but you said a bit, Cathelijne, about agents and retailers. So you have agents in the German market, but you found out you needed to be present at retailers as well to really find out what's happening in the market. In a way, I would say, maybe as you did in the beginning as well, agents, okay, Czechoslovakia is covered, there's an agent or one or two, and there's only a limited amount of energy and time you can spend on a specific market. I do not know if you also visit Czech retailers, for instance, to know what's happening in the market there. So how do you make a choice in how to invest your time?
I think it's about priorities of focus and size of markets. I think if you're in Holland, Germany is always interesting to investigate since it is so close, a lot bigger. I talked to CNA, is a Dutch wear clothing brand. What they did was taking the clothes of a season and next season bring them to Germany and buy stock 5 times as big. So it's just a way of doing kind of the same, but then a lot bigger. But there are nuance differences which you really need to take care of. And what is really interesting, I was chatting with a few people in the chat about e-commerce. We didn't really touch on that point, but of course, e-commerce is for us becoming around 20% of our business, which 2 years ago it was only 5%, and that's also because of growth in Germany. We are investing in free publicity, but a lot of in paid advertisement. And the thing is, it really also enhances the retail growth because retailers see your promo online and they think, hey, that's nice. So they find out where to buy it. So our agents are giving us feedback that retailers are finding us by Instagram advertisement or Google advertisement, which is really funny. So multi-channel approach can really help in every channel.
I totally agree with it. Just one thing to echo there is I think we have the opportunity as mission-driven businesses, the stuff that we are trying to solve is pretty meaningful, right? So I think if we talk about our mission, there's opportunity for quite a lot of free PR, and the likability factor is good. So I think we should use that to our benefit, and often we have lower budgets than most of the traditional businesses. So I think we should leverage on our strengths rather than to do some mainstream approaches there. And I think what Cathelijne mentions, some Facebook advertising or like this is pretty cost effective for depending on obviously which industry you're in. So that would be my
yeah. And Danny, please elaborate a bit further with Michael's question in mind. How important is storytelling in this respect?
Yeah, I think that's crucial. I mean, I've also been the sales director for the Somnox sleep robot, which is helping people globally to fall asleep. And it's currently the #1 most innovative brand in the Netherlands. And, as with Somnox, we just had so many journalists. I mean, I was there with the team in the US when journalists from Fox News were calling at 6 a.m. in the morning for interviews, right? So sometimes we shouldn't underestimate the power of our mission and really cutting through the noise by telling our story in a very powerful way. I think that is crucial, and definitely we need to invest in videos like Cathelijne has, right? Like this doesn't have to be expensive. You can get it on fever.com for 50 or $100, a bit more. Probably Cathelijne probably a bit more, but it doesn't have to be expensive to do really great professional looking stuff. And
just to add on that with storytelling, my colleague Roos is also in this audience. She has been 5 years account manager in the Netherlands to sell the jewelry to our retailers. And now she's doing that international. And I think she can tell, Roos, do you have one line just to tell how important storytelling is?
Yeah, storytelling is making the difference for everyone here right now. It makes you unique and makes you feel more human, or how do you say it, have more of a connection together. I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah. And Rose is one of the best storytellers, and especially in cases when things get difficult. For example, if you cannot deliver because you have production problems or quality is not fine, it's so important that they know the story and keep being loyal and want to stay with you and help you to get through it. And this is really with salesmen, saleswomen within a beautiful story, really have to have the talent to bring over the story to the customers, the retailers, to keep them with us.
Can I answer a little bit about Martin's question? I think it's good to indeed, it's a great question. I think, you know, the traditional approach, I think, is to highlight yourself as a hero or entrepreneur, that a lot of us are inclined to kind of want to tell our story, which is fine. I mean, it gets some attention, right? But I would definitely challenge everyone to really focus on that mission, and then that personal story is something which people will ask for and which can strengthen the overall story. And it's in PR. I mean, I'm not a PR professional, but there's a lot of different angles to stories. So it's not that it's one or the other. It can complement each other as well. But I think you will get most results if you focus on the mission. That's my personal opinion.
Okay, thanks, Cathelijne. As a final note before we go to the breakouts, do you highlight the impact or the entrepreneurship more?
Yeah, this is our learning point. In retail, I think the products are the most important. If you sell ugly stuff, nobody will buy you. So it goes hand in hand. First, the products have to be beautiful. The impact is a really added value, and that's what keeping the customers loyal. So they really go together. And sometimes the impact is first, sometimes the products is first, but both have to be totally right.
Does it depend on the party on the other end of the table we are talking to?
Yeah, also because we have some corporate clients, for example, KLM, we have a program with, and the Rijksmuseum and Van Gogh, and they all wanted to do business, especially with a purpose company. So they are really looking for, you see that more in corporate segments, that they're looking for sustainable suppliers. So their impact is first, and then they're going to choose the best one. But with retail, they're just on the lookout for the really nicest stuff, and then impact is second, I think.
Thanks a lot for now, Danny and Cathelijne, for your presentations and questions and answers on the questions. We'd like to